What, the fact that I can't get the crap to work?
Yeah. I want to be like,
okay, hold on.
I don't know, but
we're going to change it here. There we go. And then when I do this, it should come up correctly, and it's not. I've reached a point where I don't even know why it's not working. Because
well, we'll just have to talk better.
Yeah, I'm going to have to I'll have to figure it out. But basically, guys, here's our matchup. Let me put this up so we can see it. There we go. Okay. So on your left, we actually, let's meet the players real briefly before we get too far. On the left side of your screen, this is Shawn. Shawn is from College Station. He's not an Aggie, I asked. But he is from College Station. He is going to be playing Kylo Ren Tarkentown. On the right-hand side of your screen, this is Blake Bush. Blake is here from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. 8 hours and change he drove to be here. Wow. And the reason I picked Blake is I recognized his name. He was a top 8 player in Mobile.
Oh, okay.
So he was at the Mobile PQ I was at 2 weeks ago, and I was like, hey, I know that name. Let's have a look at these guys. He actually was playing Krennic ECL there as well.
Okay. Well, this isn't ECL. This is
Krennic
30-point.
Krennic, you're right. It's 30-point Krennic. So
that's just a standard. If they're playing green, it's blah, blah, blah ECL. Instead of the green. That's just kind of what people say now because ECO is so powerful.
Yes.
That's an odd way to
Okay, now I think they've started time. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and start our timer.
Oh, that was the sideboard. Oh, they're counting out sideboard. Oh,
okay.
That makes me excited. Seeing people.
I actually don't know if they've started time.
I don't know.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask Daniel in Discord.
We have a little Discord chat going with the judges.
Yeah.
And then they've got out there with their Apple Watch on, and it buzzes them when we say something.
I could, if we're ahead of things, I can fix it. Okay. Okay. All right, there we go.
All right, so we've got.
All right, and Shawn's on the button.
We've got Krennic ECL, not ECL.
No, Krennic green, just regular old Krennic.
You didn't hear what I said.
I'm going to be interested to see this matchup because Krennic green is kind of it tends to play a little more mid-rangey. Right? At the top end, it can get into control with Avenger and those kinds of things. And you'll see power of the dark side and stuff. But if this Kylo deck plays the way I play Kylo, right, which is, mostly you curve out around 4. Mm-hmm. You go for speed and quantity of units rather than quality of units. The unit control that sometimes you see Krennic play will not be terribly effective. And it's going to be curious to see how Shawn plays it. Does he go wide? Or not. I mean, typically Kylo goes wide, but
yeah. So for you guys listening, when we start talking about Kylo Red being played, you just need to sit at Wes's feet because he has put many hours into this matchup. Into this
yeah, but it didn't exactly do me much good at our PQ.
Doesn't matter. You still know everything that's going to happen in this match. This is a Neo waving at the bullets thing. You're like, I've seen that.
I definitely know the matchup. Let's put it that way. So we'll see how it goes. Kylo opens with Death Star Stormtrooper and of course a Pike Sentinel.
A Sentinel
from.
So at this moment, like if you're Shawn, is the proper play to just run it into the Sentinel and get it out of the way, or do you have something to kill the Sentinel?
So he's got a couple options here because he came in with a Cantina Braggart as well, and so he's got a couple of 1-drops. So again, Kylo likes to go wide like this. This should be. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a 2 tubes, not a Cantina Braggart. My apologies.
Benthic.
So what I would do in his shoes, but he did lose the initiative here.
Yeah,
that is going to matter.
So he's going to crash and kill.
Yeah, right. He's going to dunk the 2 tubes, and then that leaves. Yeah. So losing initiative here is where Kylo hurts. Now he could Tarkentown right now and get rid of the Sentinel, which is one of the reasons I play Tarkentown in this matchup specifically to murder Sentinels.
Okay. Which appears
that's exactly what he's going to do. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Make sure the bait. No. Okay. I cannot get those ones to update. I apologize, guys. I'll figure that out between rounds. We spent a lot of time working on the physical setup this last round.
Really want this to be an ECO on the side. Oh, he's burning everybody out.
So we saw a Phase 3 Dark Trooper come in.
And got immediately
then he got
torched.
force choked. Which I love to see this card. Shawn's got 1 resource left, obviously contemplating something in his hand.
Tap Kylo.
Okay, he's going to use Kylo.
Partisan Insurgent to buff the Stormtrooper.
Okay.
So it doesn't look like he's going to have initiative ever.
Probably not for a while.
It's just he's got so many more things to do.
In general. And put a Mr. Bones on the board.
There we go. All right, so then.
I believe Shawn might be out of cards. Yes, he literally is just top decking now. Okay. That makes Mr. Bones a really good card right now.
So what does Bones do when you have no... Okay.
He deals free damage to ground units if he attacks and you have no cards in hand.
So he's going to be the guy that if he throws down a...
Okay, and he gives
A Sentinel.
on
Well,
attack,
so he can just
I
wreck that
do-
guy immediately with Mr. Bones. Well, he's got to get rid of the cards in hand.
Yep. So
But he
Lom
doesn't
Pike
want to get
coming
rid of
in.
the cards in hand because that's a fallen lightsaber. So he's going to want to flip Kylo.
3 to base with Stormtrooper.
Interesting choice. Oh, it's not a Sentinel. Never mind. He's just
It's not a
bypassing.
Sentinel.
Yeah.
But I see what he's going to do. What I suspect, the line I would take here in his shoes, I would. Okay, so he's passed back to Blake. Blake's going to claim he's going to flip Kylo.
Flip Kylo.
Put out the saber.
Blake has nothing left.
Yep.
So now we play the saber.
Then I will swing Mr. Bones into base. That'll be.
And then Kylo with the saber is going to finish off.
So he's going 3 to base with Mr.
This
Bones.
is brutally fast.
He can deal 3 to Lom Pike, which he's
Deals
going to
3,
do.
and then he's going to finish off Lom Pike with fallen lightsaber, right? Because that's a force unit.
Now 8 to base with Kylo.
Ash.
19.
And he can put one more on Lom with the saber if he wishes.
Blom is 4/6, not 4/4.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, that was my.
It looks like
My
he
mistake.
might have forgotten the saber's extra point there, but there you
But it's
go.
a May, right? That's
It is a May.
You have to say
It is
do
not.
it.
I'm pretty. We'll check it. I'm pretty confident it is not required.
So there's a lesson in this for people watching Blake.
Actually,
No,
no,
that
it
is
is not a
That
May.
is not a May.
Technically, Lom should have one more damage.
Ready? Yep.
5 for a barrage. That's going to be bad. Kylo hates barrage.
7. So we will kill 7. Yeah.
Yep, 7 because Krennic.
We'll do. He gets the +1 from the Krennic. right?
Streamer's missed one.
Krennic, yeah. So we'll do. We'll just kill Kylo. Okay.
All right. Overwhelming barrage just to knock out the biggest threat on the board. Kylo goes away
Kylo
now.
dead, but he hit hard.
Oh, you got to
hit
swing out of him. That's what you
Very
need.
hard.
Now, he's not going to be able to kill. He could kill Lom right now, which is truthfully what he ought to do. He can easily trade the Stormtrooper. I would trade the Stormtrooper for Lom and
Yeah.
keep Mr. Bones on the board.
Mr. Bones is Stormtrooper plus.
Yes. But he's got
But
something in
can
his
he?
hand. Let's see what he does.
Can he do it? Because he has to run it into him. He'll lose both guys because the Lom Pike has.
Oh, he's
is
plus
8.
2 extra health.
He's got 2 extra. He'll die at the end
That's
of
a
the.
good point. So,
At the end of the match, I mean,
he's just going to choke him.
Draw a card, right? Yep.
That's one way to do
Yep,
it.
he's just going to choke him, which again just
those are
gets
some
rid of him. That deals his last
optimal-
5 health there.
I will flip.
Those are some optimal
Okay, does he have an on-flip ability?
horse jokes he's got going
He
on.
just has Restore 2, and then he's the same ability on the front next to back, where things damage get
Yep.
+1/+0, yeah.
Okay, so we'll start with the Mr. Bones swing,
Yep.
dealing 3 to base and 3 to Krennic.
Okay. 3 to base out of Mr. Bones. 3 to Krennic out of Mr. Bones. I've loved being able to trigger his game text. It's so awesome.
Kill here, and I'll heal 2.
Okay, Krennic swings in, wipes out the Stormtrooper, takes 3 back, and restores 2. So he gets back to 20 on.
So Krennic has 1 left.
And now is an opportunity for Shawn to claim, if he wants.
Tap 3,
Oh, nope. Okay, he's got a reckless gunslinger
take a damage on base.
from the Smuggle Row.
Is that better than claiming and
I
finishing off
think-
Krennic before
I
he?
So I think I might have claimed here, but in the end, because you're going to draw and you can only resource 1, Mr. Bones will never start a round with his game text on. You
Right.
have to take 1 action to kick him on, to get rid of the card in your hand.
So you would have had to use Mr. Bones to prevent the restore.
You would have had to have trade Mr. Bones in.
but you don't want to do that because
You,
then
you
it's a
preferably
it's
you really
net
don't want to do that.
-1.
Man, we're getting out of focus now. I might have to
What
go to I'm
happened
gonna have to
with
go to
that?
manual
Is it an
focus.
autofocus?
I'll heal
Interesting.
2, so I'll go 2.
Okay, so we're going to restore 2. Krennic trading with Mr. Bones. Up to 19 on. No, 18 on. Excuse me. No, that's 19. Yeah, I had it right. And there we go.
Kylo's gonna.
What's he sitting on? He's got a Guavian and I think another Force Choke. The Force Choke's not going to do him much good right now. There's the focus. I
We've
think.
got a fistful of cards over
Oh
here.
yeah,
in Blake's hand.
Blake's not sitting on lack of options. This is the point where if you're Kylo, you're sad that you let him get restore off twice.
Yes, very much. Because if he doesn't get restore off twice, then he's dead.
But Blake also, I mean, it looks like he's got about 6 or 8 cards in hand. A single Chaos of War out of Shawn's deck could swing this game, and it could
That's
be
true.
over that quickly. If
Is
you're
that
not,
is
if
that
you're
is that
not
a
used to-
standard card that gets played? Is everybody that runs
100%.
Kylo? Okay.
100%. If you're not used to playing Kylo Double Red, you probably don't know what Chaos of War does. Most of the time that I would play that card, people would have no concept. They would have to read it. Like, what does that do? And Blake's looks like he's got 6 cards in hand. That could be a massive
So
swing.
he passes.
Yeah.
So what's the reasoning here behind not attacking with? You're trying to decide if you want to not attacking with the guy on the left.
I'm not sure precisely. He played a daring raid, it looks like, to hit the base for 2 more.
Yeah, just smash the guy, the daring raid.
Okay.
Oh, so you, all right. Yeah,
He's going to ambush in the tech. That's actually really smart, really clever play. I like that.
Just don't know why Shawn didn't attack with that guy first.
I don't know either. That's what I'm not sure about that. He might have been thinking about pumping him with Kylo.
Tap 1 for 1 top. Yeah. Antagonizer. There we go.
Yep, there's the Guavian.
Okay.
And another Sentinel guy.
Yeah, but Guavian doesn't care.
Oh, Guavian has Saboteur.
Guavian is Saboteur.
Got to do 9 damage.
So now, if you're Shawn, you have to be asking yourself the question: do I go for the Kylo pump and try to push 4 through, or do I just go for the 2 that I can get right now because I'm on the button?
Well, he would. It feels like he's already made that decision. He made it last round. It's just whether he's going to continue with that because he was going for the Kylo pump by not attacking.
Yeah.
And now is he going to switch strategy here?
In his shoes, I would go for it. I would put the damage on.
Just take the 2? Well, yeah, if you'd done that last time, it would put you to 25, which would put Blake in dead range to
Yeah,
drawing.
I would not expect Krennic to have any more Restore lurking in that deck. Nope, what are we doing? Spending 2. Blake's sitting on a Vader, so if he doesn't attack with this Guavian, Shawn's going to lose it. I would just push the damage now while you can and force Blake to have an answer.
Shawn does not look concerned at all.
I have 8.
I mean, not Shawn, Blake. I'm reading the
He
name.
doesn't. In his
He
shoes,
feels
he's
in
got enough
control.
health. If he had 4, I would be concerned, right? If he was on an ECL base, for example,
Right.
I would be concerned, but not where he's at right now.
Let's go ahead and tap 2. We'll play Arm to the Teeth on Gwen.
Yeah, it feels like
so-
Shawn is getting a little bit not conservative, but like
Yep. So he's going to play Arm of the Teeth, which is a card that I love.
But it's just gonna die immediately.
Ultimately, it's not going to do him a lot of good. I'm sure Blake is going to just
smash.
he's
into
just
him.
going to smash. Yeah, he's just going to smash and grab with Vader here. Yeah. Once you reach this stage of the game, Krennic has far more tools to stay ahead of you, and so you basically have to try and push damage whenever you can. So when you start on the button late in Kylo, and it's you've done this work, you've got to be pushing damage. If Blake gets look at that, he's got 2 more Sentinels in there.
I mean, it's Kylo, so you're always going to live on the top of the deck. So you just take the damage that you can
Exactly
get when
right.
you can get it.
Exactly right.
You don't rear back for the big punch because Blake can just dodge it.
Yep.
I'll resolve the ambush first. Okay. Would you like to cut that or anything?
I mean, for obvious reasons, Kylo preys on 25 HP bases a lot more than 30-point ones. But you can, in the right matchup, push 30 through before they can really react. But I think Shawn would have done better to attack there.
Yeah, but that's twice now where he's been sitting on a 2-damage guy trying to get more out of him rather than just taking what he can get. And if he had attacked with both of those guys when he had an opportunity, he would be at 25, and he would just be he's just looking through the top of the deck for that hit. You hit everybody for cards in hand and win the game.
The Kylo pump is really good in the early game, and it's good in the late game if you're off the button. Like if they've already claimed and you've got cards in hand and units on the board, then go for it. But generally, you probably won't have units on the board in the late game, which is tough. So he played a 2 tubes, and it immediately got murdered.
Kind of feels like Shawn doesn't really know what to do at this point. I'm not criticizing him, but watching the play that he just made he was like, I don't know, and threw down a 2-drop.
That's all you can do.
But then the pike guy killed him immediately.
Immediately, right.
So
1, 2, 3, 4, punishing 1.
All right, so now what I like about what's happening here is that Shawn has drawn into some of his space units. And if Blake doesn't have any kind of removal, he might be able to sneak some damage through here because he's also got a Kylo's tie in his hand. But if that's an Avenger, it's not, it's a Snoke. So that's going to make the Kylo's tie basically worthless. Exactly. Chat pointing out that Kylo runs out of steam like this, especially against top-end villain blue.
Well, yeah, Kylo runs out of steam like this, but if he had taken the 4 points that he had, which would have basically that he had available to him, then he would have an out here. There are cards in that deck that will smash somebody for 5 easily, and so the opponent would be at 25. And even though the board is way bad at this point for the Kylo guy could just rip off the top. I mean, that's kind of what you have to do at this point is just rip off the top.
The card that in my mind is going to win this match for Blake is the Snoke, right?
Well, yeah. Once they drop a Snoke.
At this point, you're kind of hosed. Chat wondering about the Raiders in the sideboard. We don't know.
Not specifically, but does the Kylo list
so
run
some
Raiders?
Kylo decks do put Raider in the sideboard. I never did, but I know plenty of players that do, and I think Shawn's going to go ahead and scoop this up. He knows at this point this is not going to happen. You definitely see some Kylo players put the Raiders in the sideboard. It's a good card in the deck. Some players pack it in the main.
Yeah, it's just a strong card.
I can see that too.
It's like one of the best cards in the game. So, but I don't play Kylo enough to know if just the style of play with Kylo just can't take advantage of.
Right. Fabulous game by Blake. He had the right answers. He had the Sentinels when he needed them. Took the patient. Played patiently, and his deck is going to curve out much better. Now let's talk about sideboards real quick.
Okay. Not one of my strong suits with this game.
Well, what I'm going to point out is that we're doing here precisely what I did in Mobile, which is we do not have the deck lists here with us for Swiss rounds because the players at the table do not have the deck lists of their opponents. They're not supposed to know, and we are not. Then in my mind, as a commentator, I don't want to know. I don't want to have any information that the guy at the table doesn't have.
Okay.
The other thing is that there's a part of me as the trying to preserve the integrity of the tournament. I don't want to accidentally say, oh yeah, so and so has this in his sideboard, and then one of somebody's buddy watches the stream and tells him on Discord, and they run 3 rounds later. Oh, I know he has this in his sideboard. I don't even want to put myself in that situation. So up until Top Cut, guys, we will not be talking about deck lists. I have access to them. The judges will let. I am taking pictures as we go. But I'm not going to talk about it, or am I going to display them?
We do have a camera over these guys' decks as they flip through them, though. So I'm watching. He's got this. He's got this.
Of course.
He's got this.
This is right. We can see these kinds of things, right? Oh, he does have Raiders. You see him? He had a Raider in the main. I'm seeing a fifth brother. Fifth brother. So he absolutely has at least one. He had one Raider in the main, which means he's probably got 2.
Okay. I'm just entranced by Blake having an entirely hyperspace deck.
Isn't that cool?
It's cool.
That's cool.
He deigns to have a judge or a promo of Takedown there. I think
I watched a game, I think somewhere in New York or New Jersey. The McClunky guys were streaming it. And it was later in the event, and it was a guy, he was playing, what was he playing? It was some kind of blue-green villain. And, no, we are having a little bit of bandwidth issues on this end. I can see it in OBS. It's recovering, but occasionally it's doing weird things. The entire deck was hyperfoil. The entire deck. Ooh. And it was...
But what do you do if you want to make a change?
It was exciting to watch. I turned... Okay, so guys, you did get a little bit of a buffer choke there. We did drop some frames, and it's happening again. Unfortunately, I'm not sure. It's not something with the PC on this end. It's going to be something with the connection.
So they have the Wi-Fi here is pretty good. When we tested it last night, it was actually pretty good. But
yeah.
We also didn't have 95 people with their phones on.
Turn the bit rate down just a little more.
But then they can't see our beautiful faces.
No, they
quite
can.
As clearly.
I'm gonna try and bring it back down so that it. Twitch doesn't like it when you stream at really high bit rates.
Okay.
When I do it at home, I don't have any problems. Here, I'm using Restream today to feed everybody. This is technical crap that probably doesn't mean anything to you, but it only means I'm sending one stream out. We definitely don't have the bandwidth to multi-stream the way I'm doing, the way I would normally do it.
Okay.
So I'm having to be a little creative, and it looks like it's stabilized now that I backed it off a little bit, so we'll see if that holds.
Well, he asked.
Oh, okay.
We've got pile shuffling going on.
You're from Louisiana?
Mississippi.
And
Yeah, it's like
unconcerned Blake.
Yeah.
Say what?
So I'm just watching the shuffling going on the table. We've got pile shuffling going on, and unconcerned Blake seemingly having conversations with people not at the table, or at least not looking at them.
They're having a nice conversation. What's interesting, I didn't know this until I read the tournament rules. Pile shuffling is not considered to be adequate.
Correct.
By the tournament rules, you're allowed to pile shuffle, but you must also mash shuffle or riffle shuffle at least 7 times.
At least 7 times.
That's what it says. I'm almost positive it said 7 times.
Okay.
Before you present your deck for a cut.
So that's one of the things that I always like. have influence on tournaments that get run sometimes. And I always recommend and tell people, and then I do myself, like it is up to both players to make sure that the deck is randomized.
Absolutely.
Because there are people that look at their deck while they shuffle, and whether they're doing it inadvertently or maliciously, you can't tell. There are people that present decks that are 49 cards. There's no you pile shuffle, you count. It's kind of tedious, and you're almost never going to catch an issue with it, but it's your job, along with your opponents, to make sure their deck is shuffled. It's somebody from shuffle cheating you.
It's funny, right? You were the first person that I ever played in any CCG that shuffled my deck. Oh, okay. Give us a second, guys. Hang on a moment. Okay, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, so as what we're saying on the stream, yeah, pile shuffling is good for counting cards, not for randomizing the deck, because it's not random when you lay something out in a particular pattern. Somebody just bumped the camera.
Yes, they did, but it'll settle in.
That's okay. We can see it.
That's what the sandbags are for. As long as they don't knock the whole thing over, we're fine. All right, so what's Blake sitting on here? He's resourcing a punishing
shuffling.
one. Sorry, I got the name wrong. Did he resource the MiG? No, he kept the MiGs.
You have a contentious relationship with MiGs, don't you?
In this deck, I have a very love-hate relationship with MiGs. There's people that absolutely swear by him. There's people that absolutely despise him. He's really good if you can get him early. Like, if Shawn opens with MiGs, he has the possibility, the opportunity for this to be a really good matchup. But then again, Blake just drew it into a Death Trooper. So they could go south in a real hurry. You just don't know. I'm willing to bet you he's going to keep that Death Trooper. He's sitting on a Vigilance in there, too. Resupply. He's going to... Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the random. On to game 2. Let's see how we get there. 2 for MiGs.
Here we go. There's MiGs.
Yep.
Bill Burr makes an appearance.
All right. Blake grabs initiative.
No 2-drop.
He didn't have a 2-drop, but he's going to open with that. Death Trooper's a 3-drop or a 2-drop?
3.
Okay. He's going to. I almost guarantee you he's going to open with that Death Trooper and just murder poor MiGs.
I said that very uncertainly. You made me question myself, but I'm pretty sure it's 3. I would have known if you hadn't asked.
Well, here, let's cheat. This is not a card play. Let's just look at it.
Ready?
It's a 3-drop.
It's 3.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to play Death Trooper 2.
Look at that. We called it in advance.
Womp. Womp womp.
Yep. And things like that are why I have a very, very mixed relationship with MiGs in this deck. I don't play it a lot.
But he would have done that with not the one that you called Cantina Braggart last time, too.
It could have, possibly, but all the stuff that, like, for example, against, like, a Death Trooper or something, brilliant, right? Against a Death Star Stormtrooper, that kind of thing. He just Tarkin Towned it, I think.
I guess so.
Let's see if this worked. Nope. Very sad.
We're going to make you force throw.
I don't know why that's not working. I'll figure that out.
Oh, no, he force choked it.
He forced...
Well, he discarded force choke. I'm sure, and he has tapped resources, so I'm assuming...
force throwing? Oh, he's getting a random one.
Just force throwing, okay.
Or did he... Oh, right, Blake has to choose.
Yes, force throw. Blake is going to choose, and then it's going to deal damage to nothing. Well,
there's no force unit on the board, so the damage is irrelevant. All he's doing is taking cards out of Blake's hand right now.
Yeah. When did he hit?
An entrenched.
Probably good. I guess that you throw the entrenched if you feel like you can deal with Kylo pretty readily.
Sitting on Mr. Bones for an Yep, I love these guys. This is one of the best new cards out of set 3 for Kylo. Kylo loves this card. No, not that one. Wrong card. Apologies.
See, I want to find a deck for that card. That card.
I actually played that in one of my early versions of Kylo after set 3, but it was.
No, he did Tarkin Town him. Okay.
Yes, he did. There, that's the card he actually played. This is a great card for Kylo. Because it's like whether he lives or dies. Thank you. You get damage.
Yeah. He lives or dies. I don't know, man. I really want to find her home for a 5/2 for 3.
So do I. Kylo, again, that's a card that I definitely put in this deck because it was something that people had to deal with. So even if he's not a Sentinel, he draws fire like one. I feel like Shawn's already behind this game because the units he's played haven't had the health to stick around. One of the things that I started getting to a point, especially in this Tarkin Town meta that we're kind of in right now, Quinlan Tarkin Town, Django Tarkin Town, everybody's playing Tarkin Town right now. I would routinely try to put units on the board that would have a little bit of HP and stick around, guys like the Cantina Braggart or the Partisan Insurgent, that kind of thing.
Swing 2 in the base.
Going to go ahead and get in for 2. First damage of the game. First blood to Shawn.
This feels
Okay.
difficult for Shawn.
I agree. He's already behind because that's the first damage he's landed, and we're on turn 3.
When he's not...
He's got 3 resources. Looks like he's got a Fallen Lightsaber, and I can't tell what the other card is.
He's got a flip.
He's going to go ahead and deploy Kylo.
He's got a Kylo. Then there could be a comeback here, but not...
Yep.
7. Yeah.
Do the damage.
So let's see if Kylo sticks this time. He swings in for 7.
Let's see if they do the damage.
He's forgetting the saber damage again. There we go.
All right, and then you're not after that.
No, I had it right. It's 9. That's 9 damage on. There we go. So I'm seeing a takedown. That's not going to do Blake much good. He's going to have to get damage onto Kylo before he can land the takedown. He can do that with Lom, but I think that means Kylo's going to be able to swing in again at least one more time. Five resource turn coming up. This is a big one for Kylo. Shawn needs Kylo to survive this first action and get some damage out of him. He'd swing for 6 right now.
Swing
Watch,
on
what is the choice made?
Swing Kylo on
Okay.
the attack trigger. We're going to give a shield to series officers and the Long Pike. He'll lose the shield, so I'll just do 4 to Kylo.
Okay, so he's going to put 4. If you're Shawn,
You have to hit immediately.
you have to hit. You have to swing
something.
with Kylo. You're going to lose him again against blue. You have to know this kind of play is coming.
Just killed him? How did he kill him?
Yeah, because it's a mandatory trigger. It's not an A, so that doesn't
Okay.
do that.
So this will actually do 5 damage to Kylo then, since he's damaged.
Correct. Yep. So 5 points to Kylo.
Okay.
Because
so
Yeah, the buffering happens again. I wish I could fix it, guys. I'm working on someone else's internet. I have considered getting a my own traveling Wi-Fi hotspot, but I have that I'm only doing on occasion.
No, he doesn't get
Yeah, see, Shawn feels like he's trying to hit a home run every time. I guess it must be baseball season, dude, because I got all the baseball analogies in my head.
So Shawn is playing a little bit into the same kind of way that I play. I found myself kind of a little trapped on occasion, always wanting to put that lightsaber on Kylo. But I had some games in RPQ here in Conroe. Towards the end, I played a really fabulous guy who basically was like, "You really should be looking at play. Don't forget the saber game text is there, right? Look at that as a 3/3 upgrade. Play it on another unit, and like the turn you bring Kylo out, and now I have 2 threats I have to deal with.
Yeah,
Right? It makes one of your weenies into something that I have to deal with, and it potentially leaves Kylo on the board.
Well, I still like it as a play here to have it on Kylo, because otherwise he just dies to Forlom and that counterattack.
Which is true.
Which not just taking. This is what he did in the last round. Not that he would have won, but he would have had outs if he had just taken the damage instead of loading up that big haymaker punch that he's trying to do by using Kylo's ability on a 2/1 or.
Right.
He's not just taking the damage when he can get the damage. Like there should. I can't think of a reason he should be considering anything giving the turn back to Blake without getting that shot in from Kylo. Like that shot in from Kylo is
he absolutely needs to swing with Kylo right here.
So I don't know what Shawn is thinking about. It just feels like he's trying to figure out if there's any way he can hit harder. And
I agree.
That feels like
it is, and he is, and unfortunately, I think it's going to cost him.
And it cost him last time.
Well,
last
now
game.
the only other card he might have, it looks like that card on the left might be another Fallen Lightsaber. If he puts that down, that might be interesting. Oh.
on Kylo.
Now Kylo has 5 HP. Doesn't takedown say they have to be below 5? Is it 5 or less?
So he starts 4.
Expecting to know what all the cards do?
plus
6. He's a 10 with 5 damage. He has 5 else. He has 5 left.
I mean, this is a moment where you really
But if
need
the
to know
takedown
that
lands, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
You
the
just
trick.
take the shot.
That's the trick. Yeah. He should have
And he
gone
did-
ahead and swung in there and put the saber on somebody else.
And that's exactly what happened in the first
Yeah.
game, where he didn't just take the damage.
Yeah.
Loaded up.
With Kylo, your first impulse needs to just be push damage, push damage, push damage. It's really, I won't say it's all you're good at, but it's certainly what always a feels bad moment.
Yeah. Not only did he not get the damage in, but he also lost the card.
Yes,
so he just
correct.
lost all across the board. And
Correct.
and in a situation where he cannot afford to lose anything,
Right.
he has to squeeze everything he can out of it.
Right. Whereas, imagine a world where he had still had that saber in hand
And puts it on the shield
and
guy.
puts it on his shielded guy, or puts it on a Guavian Enforcer later on. That's a 5/6 Saboteur.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that you have to deal with in this deck. Now, Blake has tools to deal with it, but you're forcing him to have them in his hand.
But he has to have multiple tools to deal with it, whereas in this instance
Right.
he had to have one tool, and it dealt with it all.
Right. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry about the internet. I don't know what I can do about it. I'll talk to the store, but I don't think there's much they can do. It's very, very variable. The only thing that's good, the only thing good about it right at this point is I'm going to go ahead and start just recording locally. So even if I lose the opportunity to stream everything and keep the stream consistent, I'll work on making sure that the games that post to YouTube are in good quality.
Oh, wait, no. Okay.
We'll look at it out in between games. I might have some ideas.
All right. 3 to base.
Yep. So go to
Sean, I think
So
is
what
pretty much. I think I honestly feel like it feels bad to say. I think Sean's already lost this game.
So with 2 cards, if you have 2 cards in hand, which you would have if you hadn't played the saber, what would Kylo have hit for there? 3
Would hit for 6.
He would have hit for 6.
Would hit for 6, which is reasonable.
Nothing
wrong with that.
Assume there's 6 more damage on that base. So let's see where it doesn't feel like he's going to get it. He's going to get this one done. So just out of curiosity, if he hits now, let's say he puts the 3 damage on that guy. So now he's hitting for 5
kill Mr. Bone.
instead of 2. So we're looking at 9 more damage on that base if he just attacks with Kylo and puts the
Right.
saber on somebody else. So that we're
Right.
at what, 21 here? 21 with a 5/4 coming in.
Yeah.
So as bad as this started off for him, he would be at 21 with an opportunity to immediately swing for 5.
Yeah.
And so put him at 26, again giving him that out of hit you for cards in hand. And then he could have snuck this game out. Could possibly have snuck this
Yeah.
game out if he had just taken the damage when he got an opportunity.
This is a tough matchup for Kylo to begin with. But like you point out, there are ways you can play through it and still come out with a win. It's not easy. It requires your deck to feed you the right cards at the right time, but it can be done, especially because Krennic, these blue-green villain decks love to hold cards in hand.
Yeah.
Chaos of War is a massive bomb against this matchup if that player is not preparing for it and making an effort to play things, right?
So
3 Confederate Tri-Fighter.
Okay, I love this play. I'm not sure it's going to matter at this stage, but I love it anyway. I have this base health wrong because Krennic restored 2. There we go.
Judge! I just have a question about that part.
Deck officer.
one of the is he a judge here or is he just helping out?
Who?
The guy dressed in the
Oh, is the Imperial officer?
The Imperial
Actually,
officer.
I think he's store staff. I don't think he's one of the
Okay.
tournament judges.
So apparently there are a bunch of people or several people here that are actually in the 501st. And so we busted in this morning, opened the door, step in at 9 o'clock this morning, and we are greeted by a legit Imperial officer.
Yep, there's an
in the
Imperial officer standing there.
pantaloons and hat and top and everything.
I had to ask him about his boots because
Oh, yeah?
I have a Krennic outfit that I've never actually been able to wear because I still need the leather boots for it.
Okay.
And so I asked him, I was like, where did the boots come from? And he goes, they're just English riding boots. So, Blake, with the unfortunately somewhat predictable vigilance coming in here.
So the question, you guys might have seen this, or I don't know if you can hear what's going on in the thing. So he gets to do these, and the question was, could he heal at this and
Can he-
also
Correct.
kill the guy?
Correct.
And so the wording on the card is, you can do these in any order. So the judge just clarified, yes, you can kill that guy and then heal, and then the bases can't heal part of the Confederate Tri-Fighter doesn't work.
Yep.
We're going to swing Long Pike into Benthic Tutus, and on pack will shield and shield. So
It amuses me. He keeps shielding this droid because he's like, I'm never going to kill it.
Right.
Now, what's interesting about that, if I'm Shawn, is that now I strongly considered using Kylo's game text to buff it But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah, we're
I got to get the
spot
base
where it's
health
not
correct.
necessarily going to matter.
5,
But if he had
1,
put the lightsaber, the fallen lightsaber on him, it would be
that would have
amazing.
been that would have really changed Blake's calculus, wouldn't it?
Yeah, think about how different this game is. Are you really going to tart up and put more shields on the 5/4 that's coming in and hitting every turn?
Right. Well, it forces you at that point to be digging for something like a takedown to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Right? That kind of thing. Because a barrage won't do it. He's got shields on him.
And the vigilance doesn't do it because it's 3 or less, and he has a 4 health.
Bingo.
So then he has to waste the vigilance. He still plays the same vigilance the same way that he would have played it by taking down the Confederate
Agreed.
Tri-Fighter, unless he tried to do something else with his resources. Because if Shawn is just swinging in with this beat stick with a fallen lightsaber and shields on him, then maybe Blake does something else with the first one, and then he slaps down the Confederate Tri-Fighter, and it saves him 2 more damage because he doesn't have anything left to play the vigilance at that moment.
Yeah. What I don't like about the MiGs plays, I feel like it's in the wrong order. I feel like you should go ahead and push damage first and then come in with your cards you're going to play later on.
All right. At this point, he just popped the shield.
Now he is, so yes, he discarded a card
And
to
then
buff the droid and pop the shield with MiGs. So MiGs is going to bite it.
But he's just going to give a shield right back to him.
He just
attacked with Forlong,
Yep,
Long Pike. Not Forlong, Long Pike. And he's just given a million shields to this guy that's never going to die.
And keeping his restore unit on the board. Restore 2.
And keeping his restore unit on the board. So it's very interesting how that one choice of what to do with Kylo and what to do with the fallen lightsaber, how differently this game plays out if he does it that way.
Well, and I'll also point out that might be, I'm speculating here, that might be his own little bit of an experience with this particular matchup, right?
Yeah, it's entirely possible. That's part of what playing all this is learning to get better.
Yeah.
So nobody's a finished product. Even Blake, who's a top 8 player in Mobile last week, not a finished product. I'm sure he makes mistakes too.
Okay. And I'll heal down to 3.
The trick is to surround yourself with people that can constructively make these comments to you and put yourself in a position to accept people constructively making these comments to you to get better.
Yep.
I'm going up another resource.
I'm glad I think this might be the only Kylo in the field, and I didn't even realize that was what he's playing until I saw Blake, and I was like, I want to cast Blake's match. And then when I looked at the decks, I went, it's Kylo. This is gonna be awesome. And I feel like Shawn has the tools. I think he needs a little more experience with the deck, and to see some of these lines of play like we're talking about. And I think Kylo is still a really legit good leader. I think he's one of the more underrated leaders in the game. And now the droid just dies, so he's going to get the damage in now, but it doesn't matter.
With only 25 left to do.
Yeah. But Kylo is such an odd deck in terms of the way it functions. It's kind of all gas or nothing.
Right. And then one of those situations that you come up with is you have the more experienced people that have put more time into this, that maybe have a higher floor, higher skills to start with. They're not usually going to choose a deck like Kylo to go after. They're going to choose a deck that they already know is powerful, like Krennic here or Han or some of the other really well-known decks.
Should be over this next turn.
Nope, that's game.
Blake has plenty of things in his board, and Shawn's not going to have answers for that in Kylo. So there you go. It's a 2-0 sweep here in round 2 for Blake, all the way from Hattiesburg, looking good early here in the Austin Planetary Qualifier. Well done to both players. All right, guys, let's come back here.